Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to a new exciting episode and the last one of this year with Eleni, and I'm super excited to share your magic and your energy with the listeners of the Soul Love podcast. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. Truly an honor. Truly.
It's really amazing. I love your energy and your shares, and we just already talked about a little bit of children's book that you're creating, but I love how you are just following your inspiration and how you are manifesting and creating and really being the embodiment of this beautiful, law of attraction, but whatever you call it, law of manifestation, but when you set your mind to it, you create something. Has that always been part of your journey, or how did you roll into that?
It's funny, and something I do often speak about when I start with my story is that there was a time in my life that I was homeless. I had come out of a really abusive relationship. I was addicted to drugs, living on the street. And I just remembered that my mom had this book called The Secret. Yes. And that I read it, and it talked about the power of gratitude. Mm-hmm. So living in my car, I started my first gratitude journal and really began to experience the power of shifting your focus from what isn't working to what is working and what you're grateful for. And, it didn't take long. I believe it was under a year and a half. And just doors for me. I was traveling all over the country, jet setting around, speaking on stages in an area that I had no formal training in. And it was sort of divine miracle. So, for about 20 years now, I've really just been learning more and more about the power of deliberately creating and using our energy in productive ways. I will say that it's constantly expanding. It's constant growth. It's constant learning. And I love that about life, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But also in that moment of you 20 years ago, you received the book, but there also must have been kind of a spark or something within you, like that really wanted you to create something different. Because a lot of people know gratitude is powerful, but then it's you having the power within you to really honor that and to really honor yourself, to know that there's more to life, but also you choosing to do it like a focus or a drive within you to really say, I want something different.
Yeah, I knew that there was more for me. And, to kind of tiptoe back a little bit into the story without connecting too much of the trauma, but I believe I was saved by angels. I knew that the situation I had come out of would have been pretty difficult for anyone to survive. Yes. And the fact that I was able to make it out of that house, the fact that, I was able to... I'll share. Let's just put it all out there. I had been bound. I was tied up in a basement. And I just remember looking up and thinking, angels, I know there's more for me than this. And at that moment, I've been trying for hours. That moment, my hands became untied and I just knew, like, this is your shot. You better take it. And I just ran. And after that, I found myself in this weird transition phase. I'm living in a Jeep on the street. And I'm like, I know that I didn't come out of that house to not make something magnificent. I just knew that there was something in me that the world, I needed to share, and that the world needed to share with me. It wasn't just about me bringing something to the table. It was about experiencing. Like, I felt like I had this whole new shot, this whole new chance at life. To taste beautiful food and meet kind people,
but your prayer was heard. Like this deep yearning within you in this dark moment, like the light was within you. And that's, I love that fire, and you followed it. I really love that example of, like, however deep your shadows are, however dark moment you are in, you can always ask for help and it will come in magical ways. But it's also you really seizing the moment, you really choosing to honor that within yourself and to also see the moment you can, because I really honor you for that. When you came out of that situation, that you felt like, I am here to bring something bigger, because we are all in our own unique way. And sometimes it is these dark moments that give us the fire to move on, the power to really stand for who we are and the light we're here to bring.
I couldn't agree more. And you know, Kim, where I'm at right now in my life, I just feel it's so much about choices, right?
Yes,
like that at that time in my life, I could have chose to keep using drugs. I could have chose to pursue some kind of life on the streets, but I chose to get sober. I got sober living in my car. I'm over 20 years clean now, 15 years sober off alcohol. And these were all choices that and you know, even today, I have the choice to look at my shadows and be angry with them, because guess what? I still have shadows that want to come up, heal, and integrate into light. I still have a little girl inside of me that sometimes still needs a hug.
It is.
Yeah.
But I love that. Yeah. Because it's not about being afraid of the shadows, because they will come up and they will come in a deepening spiral and they will always be there in different ways. But it's you having a choice. We all having a choice. Do we want to go down the spiral of the shadow, or do we choose to give ourselves the hug, to give ourselves the love that we so deserve to rise up? Because it's constant, like a choice point, an alchemizing point. I see it like, we have a choice in each and every moment. Do we choose to believe the illusion? Because in the end, it's like, it's an illusionary energy. It's something we created that is disorientated or not a part of ourselves. Or do we choose to really choose love and light? And it's beautiful.
And, you know, when you think about choice, right, well, we ultimately always have a choice of what we're thinking, what we're giving our focus to, whether we're focusing on the love and light or the distortion. But if you have choice, you have power, and you always have choice. So you are always powerful. Because there are times in life that I know that I maybe didn't feel, I wasn't in the same frequency, vibration that I kind of reside in now. And I felt powerless, but I was never powerless. My perspective was twisted a little bit. Not twisted in a bad way, but it was off. I was choosing to look from a victim mentality versus that divine light being that we all are.
It is. And I love also how you shared that a thing like gratitude can already shift your energy, because it truly is. It's like also when we raise our vibrations, it's when we are in fight, we can't see the opportunities, we can't see the possibility, we can't see the choice. But when we choose to come into a place of stillness, even if it's just for a couple of seconds, when we choose to be in gratitude, even if it's for a nice cup of warm tea, just having a moment in stillness, our body relaxes, our system relaxes, and we can see everything from a higher perspective. We can see the opportunities, we can see the way out, we can see that there are more things possible, we can see the choice. And I think that's important. But it's such a beautiful message right now, because also where we are in right now, the time is speeding up. So people hit their resistance blocks, people hit their deepest shadows, because that is what this time is inviting us to do. To face them, and then to know that we have a choice to alchemize them back in love. And I love your message in that, because you're such an embodiment of what is possible when you're choosing love, when you know you have a choice, and the vastness where you were able to shift your life, where you in 1.5 years stood in front of huge crowds, sharing your story, sharing your empowering energy, and really standing for who you are. And I think that's to celebrate you for.
Thanks. And you know what, for those of us, so those listeners and viewers out there who might be starting to learn about shadow work, or maybe you've heard about it, haven't. Shadow work has truly been transformational for me. And one of the ways, you know, you're talking about alchemizing. And what I like to do, and something I do, it doesn't even have to be so heavy. Sometimes I feel like we're misguided that this work is scary and heavy. No.
Yes.
I talk to it. It's just an energy that's part of me. And I just have little conversations like, I know that you're there. I know why you're there. You know, you went through this when you were a little girl, you formed beliefs, and that's okay. But I really think that we can use this energy in a more productive way to get us to our goals. Because at the end day, your shadow is still a part of you. It still is part of those goals and those dreams and that big you have. It just, it's just a little darkened. It just needs a little light. So I like to have conversations with my shadow. Like, yes, a lot more could be happening with this energy if we could just, flip it. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I do that too. When on my morning walk, when I feel resistance coming up or I feel I have a doubt, I just say to that energy, I love you and I see you. What do you want to share so that we can move on? Because in the end, it's just a part of us that is resisting growth, that is resisting expansion or creating something beautiful, because our mind is so trained to keep everything the same, even if it's not so good for us or not creating the life we desire. So it's like inviting these parts of us being, I think already, I love that as you share, being in communication with these parts. We have so been taught to push them away, to neglect them, but they want to be seen. They want to be acknowledged. So have a conversation with these parts of yourself. Don't be afraid of yourself, because why would we be afraid of our shadows? Because they are part of us. They are more afraid than we are, because it is because they are afraid. It's almost like a little child part of us that has so been scared of something that happened in the past, or has been neglected, or was not able to express itself, that it went into like this little cocoon, and now it's inviting this little child to come back. So I love that as you share, have conversations with these parts of yourself.
Play with it.
Because it's so important, because we can neglect them, but by that we don't grow. Because then there are constantly these struggles within ourselves, or these opposites that are creating friction, or
resistant energy.
Resistant, right? It is.
And and it's like, when you start to really just choose more deliberately what aspects of every situation you're going to use your energy. Are you choosing to see the love? Are you choosing to see the beauty? Because it's there in everything, in everything.
Yeah, it is.
That makes the shift. Like one way. Let's play a little game. So hold your hand up. It looks like that.
Yes.
Now flip it over. It looks different. It's the same hand. We just started it differently, right?
Yes.
I love it. Perspective, and sometimes our shadow just needs help with
it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. And sometimes we also, even myself, sometimes we also make it more difficult, or use difficult words. In the end, it's about seeing all of who we are, embracing our emotions, embracing our time. We want to scream, we want to cry, we want to yell, we want to be creative, express, dance, sing, whatever we want, but just allow ourselves to be expressed, to really honor what we feel within ourselves. And by that, things start to shift. But it's also shadow work. There's a lot of energy around it, but in the end, it's not shadow work. It's just loving all the parts of who we are and being happy, being grateful about the little things. And by being grateful, we shift our energy and we shift our perspective. And you have grown so much out of that, if you see like what you have created and what you have manifested through practicing that. Yeah,
so true. And I think you bring up a really good point about allowing yourself to laugh, to cry, to scream into a pillow if you need to. If you need to hit the bag for a little bit to get some of that energy out. Because particularly now, yes, learning about the law of attraction has been a blessing for many people. The law of vibration is a blessing when you understand. I am a metaphysical teacher, so when you understand how the universe works. But I do think that some people get a little too fearful. And then they get nervous about expressing lower or denser energies because they're afraid of the retribution that comes back from that. But a fleeting moment is a fleeting moment. Days in depression is one thing. Days crying is, days in anger. You're really at an end now. But if you have an energy in your body that needs some help, it's better out than in. Go and release that.
Yeah, because it's better express it like 10 minutes than that you suppress it and then it stays stuck in your system. You don't express it consciously then, but your system is expressing it for you. Because that is what I also notice in this time and space. Before, it might have worked to only put out the positive words and to neglect these emotional parts that might come up, these old parts within us. But with the rising of the earth, with the energy rising, we are really being invited to face all these parts of us. So we're not being able to only be in the positive to manifest what we desire. We're really being invited to embrace our totality. So somehow it's like by the energy shifting on the earth, all these old mechanisms don't work exactly the same. I don't know if you noticed that, but they're...
No, I know. Yeah. But it makes it more fun, right? Now we can just love on all aspects. If I want to be angry for 5 minutes and you know, and just, I need to go for a walk and go outside and spend some time with Mother Earth, that's okay. I don't have to feel shame. There used to be this, like, when I learned about the law of attraction, you used to kind of get these like shameful feelings or concerning feelings, but that's a counterproductive energy too.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is.
On top of the anger that I was feeling, like just being, just a whole new level of love.
Yeah. Being, that's an important one. Yeah, it is. It truly is. And also manifesting things that are really in alignment with our soul. So sometimes like we want to manifest a certain thing, but if it's really not in alignment with our soul, it's not going to happen, or not in a way we... And that again is coming back to trust and coming back to really, but also no expectations. I think that's also an important thing, because if we have expectations and it's not happening that same, we have failure again, we have judgment, and then we go into a different spiral. So it's like setting it in intention and letting go.
I think too, expectation, you know, there's certain levels of expectation that are good as far as the energy that you like to attract. But if you are setting deliberate creation expectations, I think that sometimes we block ourselves off from something that could be potentially a lot more fulfilling to our soul. Yes, there are ways to manifest anything, correct? You know, like there are ways to deliberately create. If you are, you know, someone who really studies the universal laws, yes, you can create anything. But, you know, why not allow some surprise and delight? Let the universe unfold to allow more joy, more love. Like I know some things I'd like to do, and it'd be great. Be great if not the way that they should, but sometimes I'm thinking I should be there, but then it made a left and a right, and then it went around the corner, and wow, did I end up someplace so much better than I never had expected.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because even our wishes and desires are most of the time created from the past, not something new, magical, and I love that. Yeah, but that's so important. Yeah,
isn't that true?
It is, yeah. We are really to create something new. Yeah, but I love that because it also asks commitment. Like you're showing 20 years of growth, of expansion, of constantly choosing to choose light, constantly choosing to choose faith, to choose beauty, to choose gratefulness, because it's so easy to when our life goes good and everything is fine, to then fall back into our old roots. And I love how you are so sharing, like you're constantly choosing, because it's also commitment. It's work in a beautiful way, because you get so much back for it. But it's an everyday choice to be in this space of gratitude. It's an everyday choice to choose to grow and expand. I love each morning you're sharing on Facebook these beautiful daily prayers. I love that, because you're consciously setting your intention, using beautiful words to say to the universe, this is what I desire.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, there's times throughout the day that I have to take myself back to those prayers. It, again, is a choice. You can choose to believe that the world is some kind of scary, awful place, or you can choose to see the good in the world. I live in a world where people like me and you spend an hour having a divine conversation because we want to share some light. We want to meet and connect on different different parts of the globe. I live in a world where strangers show up on virtual groups to send healing to a person that they don't know in some other part of the world. I live in a world where people help animals and the plants, the earth is abundantly supplied for. There's always more than enough. It's all about what we give our attention to. Do you choose to give your attention and intentionally seek out where the divine, God, universe, however you choose to address it, is working?
It is.
It is. Are you calling attention to that? Because I love it. I celebrate it. Oh, somebody's doing really well. They're launching something new in their business. That's God working. How awesome. Let me celebrate it.
Yes.
Now, it's not about me. It's about this one energy. Like it's all happening. Like I will celebrate a sproutling in my yard. Like I will literally get on my knees and celebrate. It's you deserve this moment because I love you.
Yes. That is such like what you're sharing right now. That's such an important energy. celebrating yourself, celebrating others, but also celebrating Mother Earth and all. Like, we take so much things for granted, like the sun rising each day, bringing us life, bringing us growth, like nature, just creating its beauty, making sure that we have food, we are provided for. It's like we take so much things for granted, but there's so much to be grateful for.
And everything God does, the universe does, it does abundantly. And why would you ever think you wouldn't have enough?
No, it is.
Everything. Yeah. And for me, the one thing that always, like, when I think about this, I'm like, I just laugh, because I've got to manifest money, Eleni. I need to learn how to manifest supply. You know, I'm worried about supply. Take a deep breath. You feel relief? Do you feel peace? Well, you needed that breath more than you need the $1,000 that you think you need, or whatever the amount of money, and you don't worry. Could you imagine a world, Kim, where everyone was worried if the next bit of oxygen would be there?
Yes, that would be, but we take that for granted. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I love that. Yeah, but I think in a way it's also, I think it would be good if we all go back to more community share things and community. Where we can, like, where we can help each other in things we're good at, and where we can support each other, and because I think that's also important, and that's why I love this podcast as well. We don't have to do it all on our own, and sometimes we have these days where we feel like the 3D takes over, and then it's good. Other people, I then read your beautiful prayer of the day, and I think, oh yes, this is again where I want to go. But we need to remind each other. We need to sometimes. But I love that in this community as well, it's uplifting. So it's not like coming from a place of lack or separation. It's coming from wholeness. It's coming from light and love. And then we can celebrate each other. We can support each other and really elevate. And I think that's an invitation to everyone to really connect in a different way with each other, where you can be each other's inspiration instead of, I think that's
there's no right or wrong way, right? There's no cookie cutter uniform way, because all of our journeys and our many, many lifetimes have led us to have different experiences, which all have value. Everything in this one big, beautiful energy has value. And that's new earth living. Like you're saying, that's like, I love it. It's kind of like that romanced idea of utopia, of a utopian society, right? Where we're all just kind of, helping each other along the road with our own our own shared skills. I mean, your book, it was one of those experiences for me that it just spoke to me every time I needed it. And it is here I am, and I know there's a lot of spiritual people who listen to this show. There are a lot of light workers. Here I am, this coach, this motivational speaker, this author, this light worker. And there was still so much inside of me. And to come across this tool that helps me to look at that with no shame, no imposter syndrome for being in that kind of space. Like, here I am, a light worker, but I still have this wounded little girl sitting in the garden, who needs some love. But your book truly was one of those tools. And I know that's why that channeled through you to be able to do that new earth work.
But even I am going through the teachings each time. I am deepening, because we all have these parts within ourselves that need love or that need attention. And I believe, like, it's really a deepening spiral. So each time we clear or we invite a certain part back, new things open up and a new layer. But we have more tools online, and that's also what the book shares. But I think we're never done. In a way, we feel more empowered, and we see, because like you see the results of your you having a choice, you doing things differently. So the next time something happens, you know how to quickly shift your energy so that you can elevate again, instead of like before maybe needing a week to shift certain energies. Now you can do it in an instant because you have the tools. And I think it's not that life wouldn't give you challenges anymore. It's not that's there are never going to be all parts that come up, but it's you. What I also notice within myself, the more love I embody, the deeper parts within myself I am being invited to look at. But that is beautiful, because I have this love foundation where I can hold myself now in these deeper parts, and where I am not afraid of these deep shadow parts anymore. And I think that's the lesson. I think that's the new earth, not being afraid of whatever is there, whatever darkness, because we, in different lifetimes, we have had many lifetimes, and where one lifetime we were the light and one lifetime we were the dark. And now in this lifetime, we are being invited to bring it all back into wholeness, into oneness, and to not shame, blame all ourselves. It's like, no, we're standing in love. Bring it on. Show me, so that we can become more love. I think that's and then it's again having a choice. So I love the choice energy of this podcast, because it's having a choice. It's like, do you want to grow and expand? Bring it on. Stand in your light, stand in your center, and invite all these parts of you to show themselves, whatever they hold, because you are ready. And I think that's the lesson of right now. It's not, again, of neglecting and pushing away, and no, it's really
and it's choosing who are you showing up to the world.
Yes.
And that for me is a daily commitment.
Yes,
I make that every day, just as I choose to see the world that I wish to see, and I claim it out, and I ask to be validated, and I am validated, which makes my day just magical and beautiful.
It is, right?
I'm validating myself and sisters, but I choose what version of myself am I showing up as today. Confident, successful, trusting, flowing, full of momentum. Like, what am I calibrating to? What paradigm? It's a choice.
It is.
Or do we choose to go back to those old ways? That version of us that maybe was feeling on the low vibrational scale? Or do we choose that higher vibe? It's just a choice.
It is a choice.
There's really not a lot of work to do.
And I love then your daily prayer, because you're writing this for yourself with the intention, and during the day you can go back to that. You can go back to, this is the intention I set for today. So I love that. I'm gonna take that in my daily practice as well. I love that, because it's like an anchor point. So each time you feel you go into a slower vibration, you can go back to, this is what I set as intention this morning. So I'm choosing to go back to this. I'm choosing to need this again and activate that. As
I have a instance. So it's at the time of us recording this, it is shortly before the holiday, and it's the shopping season. And I went to a store, and there was a very, very long line for shipping. I was shipping some stuff out, and I, ended up having like some lovely conversations. I had the nicest people in there, because I only run into kind of one of people. Because I intend that, right? That's the world I see. So I had some lovely conversations. The 20 minutes I waited in that store. Then I got back in my vehicle, and I'm looking at the time now. Now that there's like some kind of voice that's telling me that I better hurry up, and that took too long, and I had to remember my prayer that morning. And wow, God really worked through those amazing people, and that's why I had the best conversations. I'm so grateful that I had people in there to pass the time with, and how we all smiled and laughed, and I had to call it back to my prayer. And just kind of, God, I know you want me to see this in a different way. Help me to see the perspective. As soon as that little, you better panic, there's not enough time. As soon as that starts chiming in, I'm like, no, there's another way to look at this. Let me reel it back. But that's it. Yeah, revisiting it. As many times as needed.
I love that. And that asks commitment and choice. And the moment you feel like, oh no, I'm going into a slower vibration thought, to really say, what is the bigger perspective? What is the gift within what was showing me? So I love that. That's amazing.
Sometimes I'll have people say, well, how do I know if I'm diving into a lower vibration? Well, it's pretty easy to tell the difference. One feels good and one feels bad. You can label it whatever you want. Sadness, anger, depression, guilt, they all feel pretty bad.
Yes, it is. It is the low self-talk. It is the energy. But you also feel your field contracting instead of being your energy draining. When you suddenly feel like you have no energy anymore, you went into a slow vibration, or someone is your energy field. I think that's important. But also with creating a new earth, we do it by the intentions we set. We do it by the values we hold. Because what I love, but it's the same with when we are in love, we get different responses of our environment, but it's us choosing to be in this love vibration. And you can do that every day. And you do that. You set this intention, and then you get different responses to people, and you get different opportunities on your path than when you are in this grumpy, slower vibration energy. Just notice also for the listeners, go into the shop one time grumpy, see what reactions you get. Go into the shop happy, see it's such a, seen from a human perspective, such a small thing, but it creates huge shifts. And the more you are in this joyful energy, the more you attract that. It's just a natural, but I love it. And it's so powerful. And it's just a choice in the end.
That's a running theme of our conversation.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I really love you sharing your story, because it's really an empowering story. Like you having a choice, you asking the light for guidance, for help, and how you each day consciously choose to become the better version of yourself and consciously choose to be the contribution you can be, because you do that in beautiful ways, like with your daughter, but also doing volunteer work and sharing your light and sharing your beautiful conversations and inspirations to the world. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
If there was one last thing you would share with our listeners or viewers, whatever, what would that be? One last tip or advice or inspiration?
Trust. I'm just feeling so much that what I want for all my brothers and sisters is to feel more trust. And it took me a while to understand what that really meant. And when I bring my attention to where things are working, the divine God universe, again, whatever you want to label it, where I choose, where I make the choice and I ask to be shown, it just strengthens my trust more and more. And it makes it easier to just be and to explore ideas and to take action, right? Anyone who understands universal laws knows you have to take action towards your goals. And sometimes, if you don't have that trust, that can feel scary. But when you're just seeing all these magical ways that God is working in your life and the lives of others, it becomes a lot easier to create rapid new earth pace.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But it's taking the first step. It's like you 20 years ago, really leaping into trust. And the more you see the results, the easier it becomes, because you know it works. But it was like 20 years ago, in the beginning, maybe you didn't know, but you trusted and you felt it and you guided yourself through it. And now it's like, but it's also showing the reward of when we really lean into trust and choice and taking action, because that's important towards what we want. It accelerates the manifestation. It accelerates, because it's like the moment we step into trust in love, and like it raises our vibration, and then suddenly all the universe can work quickly through us instead of you have
a need or a want. Let's just say there's something you either need or you want, and you have that instant idea that's a gift from the divine, but then you get a worry about it. Like, okay, so it's a choice. There's the choice again. Do I choose to give my energy to this, or do I just say, for now, I understand why you're there, but I'm going to go focus back on that idea and play in that a little more and allow that to expand and Google where this has happened for somebody else. One of my brothers and sisters, because I guarantee you, for anything that someone is trying to create out there, someone else already has. One of our brothers and sisters has done it, either now or in some other direction of time. It has happened. And so if it's happened for someone else, then there's absolutely no proof that it can't happen for you. None. You can tell that little voice just to be quiet.
It is.
Magic money shows up every day. People heal from dis-ease all the time. And as long as those things are happening, there's no reason that they can't work for you.
Yes. And I love that as well, because you view these opportunities as they can happen for me, instead of this only happens to others. No, it's true, because someone else does it. It's also you are able to do it as well. It's tuning into the energy of that template, tuning into that vibration to bring it into your own life. So I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you again for sharing all your magic and all your beauty. And if you want to find out more about Eleni, you can find all her information below this video. So for now, I just wish everyone beautiful holidays and beautiful time. And thank you for listening and tuning into these beautiful episodes. And in the new year, I have some beautiful music or magic new conversations planned. But thank you, Eleni, also for sharing your magic and being your light into the world. And thank you. Much love.
Love and blessings to all. Thank you.
Thank you. See you in the next Soul Love podcast. Much love. Bye. Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.